I love this spot right here. I look out on all them boulders, the side of this mountain. And it tells me that something at some time caused a climatic event, catastrophic event. Something busted loose to cause all these boulders, rocks, end up right here. What are the mysteries of the wilderness? You know, there's certainly a lot going on in the world today and here in the United States. A lot. Of course, throughout the history of the world and throughout the history of the United States, there's always been conflict and division. Sometimes there were certain decades or generations that was a little better than others, but for the most part, we are a nation of conflict and division. That's why I love to find my place in the wilderness. Because what I'm looking at now, pine trees, various types of trees, various sizes of rocks and boulders and gravel, pine needles, dirt. And the amazing thing of it is that even though I'm looking at something that was catastrophic at one time, everything found its place. This massive boulder in front of me here, it's not screaming, I want to be a pine tree, I want to be a pine tree. That tree right there, it's not screaming, I want to be gravel. I want to be gravel. The pine needles. Pine needles are not screaming bloody murder saying, I want to be identified as a bush, a rock. Everything finds its place. But man can't seem to do that. Man can't seem to find his or her place and just stay there. The bear is not debating and arguing, well, I'm going to identify as a porcupine today, or a penguin, or a frog. Nah. It knows its place. The mule deer is not posturing and saying, I want to be identified as a pine tree. That's what I want. That's who I am. Accept it or not. I don't know if the microphone can pick up the wind, but I can certainly hear it right now. And the wind is not debating how it wants to be a Democrat or Republican or Libertarian. It knows its place. And it's not screaming out, nope, today I'm identified as the rain. I'm no longer the wind. I identify myself as the rain. And of course, people would say, well, those elements doesn't have the intelligence that we do. They can't make those kind of decisions. Glad you thought that. Glad you expressed that, because you're right. They don't have the level of intelligence that we have. However, they're smarter than we are. They just stay in their place. They identify what they are. They stay in their place. But humans can't do that. They gotta live in some illusion or imaginary matrix of something. Educated idiots, sophisticated savages. Yeah, that's the world we live in. I'm reminded of a wise expression one time. It said, people are ever learning. They continue to learn, but they never come to the knowledge of the truth. Wow, that's profound. And that's so true. And you know what it really actually comes down to? It comes down to control. Control, tyranny versus freedom. Yep, that's what it comes down to. Control, tyranny versus freedom. Narcissists, control freaks, tyrants, thugs, bullies, punks, whether it be in the political arena, the religious arena, the business arena, the educational arena, whatever classification you want to look at, those kind of people are there. They want to do all the thinking and all the deciding. They want to destroy individual freedom, individual thinking, individual analysis. They want to destroy that. They want to decide your future and your fate. Well, it's gotten so bad, they're trying to destroy womanhood and masculinity. They're trying to blur the lines. Stupidity has reached a level of down to the soul. It's down to the marrow of the bones. Stupid. But here's the bottom line. I believe in freedom. So if they want to believe that and express that and live that, go on. Go off in your own little corner and do it. But don't impose that. Don't impose that on me. And I won't impose what I believe on you, though I will express what I believe. But if you don't want to accept it, that's fine. Go off in your own little castle, your own little corner of the world, and do whatever you want to do. But don't wave your flag and your propaganda and try to turn it into some kind of a statute or law that I have to bow to your nonsense and stupidity. Are you kidding? No. This guy's not going to do it. Yes, tyrants, thugs, bullies, punks, weak-minded people who grapple for power and authority. They want to define freedom for you. They want to define logic for you. They want to define reasoning for you. They want to define common sense for you to the place that common sense no longer exists. Well, not for this guy. I was born a free man. Yes, a man. I live as a free man. Yes, a man. And I will continue to do so. Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate the Creator's handiwork for this imperfect man. But I appreciate his and respect his handiwork. I identify myself as a man because that's what he created me to be. I strive to learn from my mistakes. I strive to be a better man because at the end of the day, as they say, and I really don't like that saying, but at the end of the day, here's what I protect: my freedom, my masculinity, my integrity. Those three primary things, and there's many characteristics to those three primary things, but those are three things, three elements of my being that I protect, I nurture, and will continue to do so. Thank you very much. The wilderness is a classroom. It's a university of the highest level. If you can't learn out here, then I don't think there's much hope, but I want you to look at this. I'm looking at a pine cone and pine needles and a rock with lichen or lichen, however you want to pronounce it, on this rock, this boulder. Oh yeah, and here's a piece of bark. Let's put that in the classroom. Yeah, let's put that in. We got a piece of bark, we got pine needles, we got pine cone, we have a boulder, a rock, we have lichen. And this is our classroom right now. I want you to listen real close. Listen. Listen. Do you hear that pine cone saying, I want to be a piece of bark. I'm going to identify as a piece of bark. Do you hear that? No, me neither. This pine needle, you hear it saying, I want to be the boulder. I want to be this boulder right here, this lichen. That's what I want to be. I want to be this right here. Do you hear that? No, me neither. Everything knows its place as it was created. And because it knows its place, it experiences freedom. Yeah. If you don't know your place, you can never experience true freedom. If you don't know your place and you live in a state of delusion or illusion or insanity, it's not freedom. It's not freedom at all. It's the black darkness, the death of confusion. That's all it is. I look out across this, what could be the size of multiple football fields of rocks and boulders, all scattered down into the valley. Something happened. And then I think, what mysteries, what treasures lie beneath that? And then, as I always do, each step that I take, I realize that I'm walking on what was at one time sacred ground of the indigenous people. Yes, sacred ground. reason I refer to it as sacred ground because they respected the earth. They respected nature, its elements, the earth. They regarded the earth as their mother, the Great Spirit as their father. A lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that.